Hive Fleet Behemoth. This was the first Tyranid swarm to invade the Milky Way more than 250 years ago, and its arrival revealed the full horror of a hive fleet. Entire worlds were stripped bare in days, and their defenses overwhelmed by endless tides of alien bioforms marked by blue carapaces and red flesh coming out of massive bioships. Hive Fleet Behemoth's first confirmed strike was against Tyranid Primus, where a Mechanicus research station was obliterated. Inquisitor Fidus Kryptman investigated the devastation and traced Behemoth's path of lifeless worlds. The invasion climaxed with the First Tyrannic War. Behemoth swept into Ultramar, destroying the jewel world Prandium and striking at Macragge itself. The Ultramarines under Marneus Calgar repelled the fleet only after catastrophic losses, including their entire first company. Behemoth was shattered, but its splinter fleets remain active. Hive Fleet Kraken. These organisms bore red carapaces with bone-colored skin, and they swarmed in great numbers, marking the second Tyranid invasion of the galaxy. Unlike its predecessor's direct advance, Kraken split into many smaller tendrils that attacked multiple worlds at once. This strategy spread the shadow in the warp across entire sectors, cutting off Imperial communications. The invasion kicked off with uprisings fueled by gene stealer cults, with the most notable being the rebellion on HR4, spearheaded by the Brotherhood. Once their presence was revealed, Kraken's main swarm swooped in, consuming countless worlds. HR4 became the central battleground where the Ultramarines, led by Marneus Calgar, engaged in a grueling urban warfare campaign, ultimately taking down the Gene Stealer Patriarch at the heart of the rebellion. Kraken also targeted the Eldari craft world Iyanden, coming dangerously close to crippling it, even though the defenders managed to hold their ground in the end. While the Imperium declared victory, Kraken was never completely eradicated. Hive Fleet Leviathan. Unlike its counterpart, the third and largest Tyranid invasion into the galaxy took a unique approach, coming in from below the galactic plane with a two-pronged advance that resembled closing jaws, effectively cutting off entire regions of space. Leviathan's swarms were pale with purple shells. Inquisitor Lord Kryptman recognized the looming threat and took drastic actions to buy time. He redirected part of Leviathan into the Orc-Octarius Empire, sparking the ongoing Octarius War, where Tyranids and Orcs have been locked in constant battle ever since. Kryptman's maneuver kept Leviathan from advancing deeper into Imperial space, but it also created a self-sustaining war. Orcs grow stronger the more they fight, and Tyranids grow deadlier with every adaptation. Leviathan continued its march, devouring crucial worlds like Griffin 4. The Blood Angels and their successors confronted the largest tendril of Leviathan during the devastation of Baal. With support from Guilliman's Indomitus Crusade and an unexpected intervention by the demonic Kabanda of Khorne, they managed to counter the Tyranids, although not completely. In the era Indomitus, Leviathan made a comeback, stronger than ever. Massive new tendrils launched into Segmentum Pacificus, kicking off the Fourth Tyrannic War. Imperial analysts are concerned that these might just be fragments of an even larger swarm that is still making its way toward the galaxy, indicating that the main body of Leviathan has yet to arrive. Hive Fleet Hydra. These purplish-black Xenos are smaller yet unique tendrils of the Tyranid invasion, often trailing behind larger fleets like Leviathan. With its habit of cannibalism, Hydra actively hunts down defeated or weakened fragments of other Tyranid swarms, devouring them and absorbing their genetic memories into its own biomass. This ability makes its bioforms incredibly adaptable and capable of multiplying at an astonishing rate. While it may be smaller than Leviathan, it unleashes massive swarms that can easily overwhelm its prey with sheer numbers. Its tactics even exploit death itself. When Tyranid organisms fall, their psychic death screams trigger nearby spore clusters to release reinforcements, transforming small skirmishes into overwhelming waves of fresh attackers. Imperial records connect Hydra to several sudden reappearances, often targeting areas that other Tyranids have just ravaged. It has devoured Imperial worlds and even faced off against the White Scars in doomed campaigns. Scholars caution that Hydra might signify a new stage in Tyranid evolution, an autophagic cycle aimed at refining and recycling its own species, making it increasingly dangerous over time. Hive Fleet Ouroboris. This hive fleet stands out for its ancient reputation and its unsettling biology. Some Imperial scholars believe it may have been the very first Tyranid fleet to enter the galaxy, with recorded sightings of winged blue Xenos as early as the 36th millennium. Its bioforms emit a lambent glow from their weapons, shrouding battlefields in eerie witch light, and they rely heavily on aerial assaults by gargoyles and harpies to overwhelm defenders. Reports from past and present show Ouroboris descending with terrifying speed, crippling communications and leadership before devouring entire worlds. Legends speak of the Legion of Ouroboris, winged horrors that ravaged the Helican sector millennia ago, said to have been destroyed in a 12-day battle near the Eye of Terror. Its organisms display cruder, more primitive morphologies, which often resist countermeasures. The true nature of Ouroboris remains debated, and some claim it is a primordial fleet, while others argue it is a divergent strain. Hive Fleet Jormungandr. Their swarms bore dark brown and yellow carapaces, well suited for subterranean camouflage, and they are notorious for their stealthy tactics and ambush strategies. It made its presence known between the Second and Third Tyrannic Wars, often kicking off its invasions with intense bombardments of debris and mycetic spores. This creates a smokescreen for burrowing creatures like Trigons and Molochs, which dig intricate tunnel networks beneath enemy lines. Meanwhile, gene stealer cults sow chaos from within, and by the time defenders catch on, Jormungandr's forces spring up from below in a well-coordinated frenzy, overwhelming critical strongholds. This Hive fleet has encircled and devoured entire sectors, including the Thalassi sector and the Hive world of Seafrax. Its most notorious setback occurred during the Battle of the Black Nebula, where a united front of Imperial and Xenos forces succeeded in obliterating a significant tendril. Hive Fleet Gorgon. It started as a splinter of Behemoth but quickly grew into a powerful fleet by devouring poorly defended Imperial worlds. Its greenish bioforms mutate rapidly to counter enemy strategies. When faced with the Tau's pulse weapons and agility, Gorgon developed smaller, faster organisms that could be modified on the fly. The fleet's first significant clash took place on the forest world of Shadrag, where waves of Hormagaunts were modified between attacks, first becoming quicker, then more lethal, ultimately overwhelming crude auxiliaries before falling to Tau ranged fire. In subsequent campaigns, Gorgon continued to adapt, forcing defenders to rotate through new and even outdated technology to keep up with the evolving threat. 3 years after the Tau invasion, Gorgon posed a serious threat to the Sept world of Kelshan, prompting an alliance between the Tau and the Imperial Guard's Cadian 18th Army. This temporary alliance proved effective at the Battle of Worldspine Ridge, where they managed to destroy the fleet's last dominatrix and Hive tyrant. However, 3 Hive ships managed to escape into the void, carrying with them Gorgon's genetic memory and leaving the door open for its potential return. Hive Fleet Tiamet. This is one of the most enigmatic Tyranid fleets encountered by the Imperium. Unlike other swarms driven purely by hunger, Tiamet appears fixated on building massive bioengineered structures. Tiamet's bioforms were shaded turquoise and pale green, clustered around its colossal star fortress, its namesake planet Tiamet. Imperial records indicate that Tiamet has not spread widely, but instead consolidates its strength in and around the Tiamet system. Every attempt by Imperial forces to investigate or attack the Hive fleet's holdings has ended in disaster, with fleets swallowed by endless waves of Xenos and ground forces overwhelmed by entrenched Tyranid defenses surrounding the biofortress. Some Magos biologists argue the fleet is preparing a forward base for the wider Hive mind, while others fear the Starfort may be a gestation site for entirely new bioconstructs. Whatever its purpose, Tiamet represents a chilling reminder that the Tyranids may have designs far more complex than simple consumption. Hive Fleet Naga. It made its debut from the eastern fringe in the 41st millennium, a name the Elder dubbed as the Endlessly Winding Serpent, characterized by dark purple carapaces streaked with green. While it was smaller than the fleets that followed, it managed to wipe out the Ulumiathic League in just 10 years and spread gene stealer infestations among the refugee populations. At first, Imperial authorities brushed it off as just a splinter of Behemoth. The Eldar faced the brunt of Naga's surge as it devoured the Exodite world of Tar-Itinil. The Exodite defenders fell, even though Iyanden claimed a void victory under Prince Iriel. At F-Alas, Itharay managed to destroy a splinter, but not before mycetic spores made it to the surface. Naga was ultimately crushed by Eldar fleets from Iyanden, Melantai, and Itharay, though not before seeding the infamous doom of Melantai. In total, 2 Maiden worlds and 7 Exodite worlds were lost. Hive Fleet Kronos. Unlike any other Tyranid swarm, Kronos has a peculiar obsession with targeting chaos infestations. It emerged during the late 41st millennium, with its blood-red tendrils reaching out to worlds tainted by the ruinous powers and engaging in massive battles against demonic invasions and chaos strongholds. Wherever the warp bleeds into real space, Kronos manifests to devour both mortals and demons alike, acting almost as a predatory counterforce to chaos itself. This pattern of attacks has led Imperial savants to conclude that the Hive mind views demons not as prey, but as rival predators, competing for the same food source. Kronos strikes with unusual precision, concentrating firepower to disrupt warp rifts and annihilate sorceress cults. Its bioforms are adapted for ranged combat to suppress demonic manifestations before closing in. Hive Fleet Dagon. This Hive fleet burst onto the scene within the borders of the Imperium called the Jericho Reach during the late 41st millennium, quickly making a name for itself as a major threat to the Achilles Crusade. Dagon had a particular focus on habitable planets, launching massive mycetic spore bombardments while mostly ignoring smaller void stations. The bioforms of Dagon are quite distinct, showcasing dark gray or bluish carapaces with burgundy flesh. Many of these creatures came equipped with venom sacs that unleashed unstable toxins, which led to higher mortality rates among Imperial forces and made standard anti-serums ineffective. This fleet also spawned some unique and infamous variants like the Dagon Overlord, a venomous hive tyrant that sent swarms into a frenzy, while the Mist Reaper is a lictor strain known for its stealth and assassination prowess, and a Trigon variant called What Lies Beneath that burrowed into heavily fortified hive cities. Hive Fleet Charybdis and Scylla. This is a Tyranid swarm advancing through the Segmentum Pacificus and now pressing into the Segmentum Solar. Its course runs parallel to a twin fleet called Hive Fleet Scylla, and together they are considered the closest Tyranid threat yet recorded to Terra itself. Its proximity to the Throne World's Segmentum has placed it under constant monitoring by Imperial authorities, with strategists treating it as a threat to the Sol system. Though little is known of its bioforms or unique traits, the mere presence of Charybdis and Scylla highlights the grim reality that more Tyranid swarms continue to close in from multiple directions. Minor hive fleets. There are smaller, lesser-known swarms that have made their mark on Imperial space, often leaving behind only a few scattered records. Among these are hive fleets Moloch, Medusa, Lotan, Chimera, and Megalodon. Moloch, a Tyranid swarm that targeted the Imperium for its biological resources, is mostly remembered through fragmented reports of its attacks on frontier worlds near the Eye of Terror. Some scholars speculate that it was either wiped out or absorbed by Leviathan. Hive Fleet Medusa got its name after it wreaked havoc on several agri-worlds in the Ultima Segmentum, with its sudden swarms overwhelming planetary defenses before disappearing back into the void. Hive Fleet Lotan is thought to have been destroyed early in its invasion, either by Imperial forces or by being absorbed into a larger swarm. Chimera drew attention for its strange morphologies, creating bizarre hybrid organisms that left Imperial biologists scratching their heads before vanishing without a trace. Meanwhile, Hive Fleet Megalodon was noted for the enormous size of its bioships, whose massive silhouettes were likened to ancient sea monsters. That concludes our rundown of the Tyranid Hive fleets. You can click here to check out another video, and I hope to see you in the next one.